It was a dark and stormy night, and the students at the school hostel were all huddled in their beds, trying to ignore the howling wind outside. But one student, named Sarah, couldn't sleep. She had a feeling that something was off. As she lay there, she heard strange noises coming from the hallway. It sounded like someone was dragging their feet across the floor. She tried to ignore it, but the noise grew louder and closer. Suddenly, the door to her room creaked open, and a figure stepped inside. It was a tall, shadowy figure with glowing red eyes. Sarah screamed and tried to run, but the figure grabbed her and dragged her out of the room. The other students were all fast asleep, and no one heard her cries for help. The figure took her to the basement of the hostel, where it tied her up and left her alone in the darkness. Sarah was terrified and didn't know what to do. She tried to free herself from the ropes, but they were too tight. She could hear strange whispers coming from the darkness around her, and she knew that she was not alone. Hours passed, and Sarah was still trapped in the basement. She was cold, hungry, and scared. But then she heard footsteps approaching. She thought it was the figure coming back to torment her, but instead it was the hostel caretaker. He had noticed that Sarah was missing and had come to look for her. He quickly untied her and helped her out of the basement. As they were leaving, Sarah turned back to look at the darkness behind her. That's when she saw the figure again, standing in the shadows with its glowing red eyes. But this time, she noticed something strange about it. It wasn't a person at all. It was a statue that had been placed there by the previous caretaker. Sarah realized that her fear had played tricks on her mind, and she had imagined the whole thing. But even though she was safe now, she knew that she would never forget the terror she had felt in the school hostel.